Coming up next on The Daily, 3 MLS games, 2 Canadian Championship games, and just one host. Welcome to The Daily. It's Wednesday, May 2nd. I'm Jason Saghini. 3 MLS games on the docket tonight, and we're going to start in New England where the Colorado Rapids come to town. The Rapids coming off that 4-0 victory over Chivas USA, where they got Connor Casey back onto the field for the first time since his injury. Unfortunately, though, for the Rapids, Casey not traveling to New England as he's not ready to go yet for the midweek game. That's good news for a New England Revolution team trying to bounce back from that 1-0 loss to the Red Bulls over the weekend. That game, 8 p.m. Eastern Time tonight on MLS Live and the Direct Kick package. Moving on, the LA Galaxy head up the coast to take on the Seattle Sounders. This has kind of become a little bit of a rivalry. These teams playing some heated games over the last couple years, and both being Western Conference contenders for the most part. Things heat up when these teams get on the field. The question is, who will get out on the field for the LA Galaxy? It seems that David Beckham, Landon Donovan, Robbie Keane may not have traveled for this game. Soccer America reporting that this morning. It's yet to be confirmed by team staff, though, so we'll stay tuned to see who the Galaxy tried out there. Remember, Bill Gaudette will be starting in goal for the Galaxy as well. Seattle Sounders looking to build off that big win they had against the Chicago Fire in Chicago over the weekend. That game, 10 p.m. Eastern Time, again on the Direct Kick package and MLS Live. The final matchup tonight, the biggest one if you ask me, DC United headed out to the West Coast to take on Western leaders, the San Jose Earthquakes. DC in second place in the East has been one of the hottest teams in MLS as of late. You have goal scorer Maicon Santos, who's really been heating up. You've seen great play from rookie Nick De Leon. They're going out to take on the Earthquakes, who have Steven Lenhart and Marvin Chavez. Both came off the bench last week against Philadelphia to team up for 2 goals. Question is, did they get back in the starting lineup for the Earthquakes in this big matchup? The game tonight, 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time on MLS Live and the Direct Kick package. Moving on to the Amway Canadian Championship, which begins tonight in Montreal. Toronto FC coming to town. Remember, last time Toronto came to Montreal, they lost 2-1. They're still looking for their first victory in MLS action, but I'm sure they would take a win here in the Canadian Championship over Montreal. That game, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. In Canada on Rogers Sportsnet. In the U.S., you can follow it on the match tracker on MLSsoccer.com. The final matchup tonight, Vancouver Whitecaps heading out to take on Edmonton FC. That game, 10 p.m. Eastern Time on Rogers Sportsnet. Again, you can follow the match tracker here in the U.S. on MLSsoccer.com. Vancouver resting some of their starters. Jay DeMerit, YP Lee, Camilo, none of those players traveling. They call it a David and Goliath matchup. We'll see if Edmonton can pull off the upset tonight. That game, again, 10 p.m. Eastern Time. Rogers Sportsnet. You can follow it on a match tracker on MLSsoccer.com. Time for our weekly Castrol Index update, and looking at the Castrol Index from this past week, we see a couple forwards making the list. Kamani Hill, Will Bruin. It helps to score goals to get you on this list, but there are also a couple goalkeepers. Matt Pickens and Ryan Mara both playing big games for their teams. Mara making the team of the week here on MLSsoccer.com. Of course, Maicon Santos with a big performance for DC United takes number 1 on the list. Moving on to the overall Castrol Index, this takes into account the entire season. We have a lot of forwards on this list. Dominik Aduro, Chris Wondolowski start off the list. Defender Aurelian Collin at number 3. He's been on this list for a while. He scores goals and he keeps them out. Thierry Henry was number 1 last time out. He's number 2 this week. And Kai Kamara taking over that number 1 spot despite being idle for Sporting Kansas City this past weekend. That's all we have for the Daily today. We'll be back, of course, with plenty more tomorrow.